Today on the Vince Everett Ellison Show, we're going to talk about how the chickens are finally coming home to roost on these low-down, dirty Democrats and all the low-down, dirty stuff they've been doing over the last 5, 6, 7 years. Yeah, the chickens finally coming home to roost. We're going to talk about that today on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, let's get this thing started. You know, one of my favorite people in the world, in history, was our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln has a lot of great quotes. One of his favorite ones, one of my favorite ones from Lincoln is this one here. He says, nearly all men can stand adversity. But if you want to test a man's character, give him power. Nearly all men can stand adversity. But if you want to test a man's character, give him power. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we tested the character of the Democratic Party by giving them power. And believe me when I tell you, that pack of perverts failed. Went up to Washington, D.C. and just lost their mind. And now the chickens are finally coming home to roost. They put a sock puppet into the Oval Office. A dude that was absolutely positively insane. We told him during the election because he was hiding. They called him hiding Biden. They knew he was crazy. The press covered it up. Democrats covered it up. Liberals covered it up. And now everybody know. Everybody know. Everybody know. A 2-year-old child can look at the TV and say, that man ain't got good sense. He lost his mind. And now we all know they've been lying. Oh, if you want to check a man's character, give him power. See, because if he had power, if he had character with his power, they would have told us, look, man, the president's not there. We got to invoke the 25th Amendment. We have to put the vice president in. And we got to do this right because the United States of America is the most powerful country in the world. We have nuclear weapons. The president walks around with a football, nuclear football. He got the codes, man. The guy has a $7 trillion budget. He can send money all over the place. He can determine life and death, war and peace. You can't have a crazy man up there. Oh, no, 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 not them. And now they are paying for it. Yeah, man, this is biblical right here. In our Bible, King Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's feeling himself. Yeah, gave him power. Rolled up into Jerusalem, destroyed the temple, burnt it up. Took all the children of Israel and the Jewish people into captivity in Babylon, killed them. You know what happened to him? In Daniel 4, it talks about what happened to King Nebuchadnezzar. He had this disease called bone atrophy. It's a word believing that you are an animal. They said that Nebuchadnezzar got on all fours like a dog, walked around in the wilderness. His hair grew down on him. His nails grew out. He lost his mind. You know why? Because he was evil. He had done evil things. He destroyed the temple in Jerusalem. Adolf Hitler, Holocaust. You know about him. Lost his mind. Lost his mind. You seen him on the films that the last time he was with the little boys trying to go get them to go in the war with his hand behind his back shaking, stooped over, meth head, crazy. Saddam Hussein. You saw they found him, pulled him out the ground, disheveled, beard, dirty. Now we got Joe Biden. The whole world, he was exposed, just like Nebuchadnezzar, just like Hitler, just like Saddam Hussein, exposed in front of the whole world. Why? Well, I remember during a debate when Donald Trump said that the Democratic Party was a party that believed in abortion after birth, and everybody went crazy. Oh, Donald Trump lying. Ain't nobody believe in abortion after birth. I want y'all to check on something. All of you intelligent people. Check out the Born Alive bill that the House passed. The Born Alive bill. The Born Alive bill basically said that if a woman's going through an abortion and the abortion happened to not take, the child survived the abortion, that the doctors would have to render aid to the child because before the Born Alive bill, they killed the child anyway. They put it in a closet and let it die, or they would kill it on the table. Almost every Democrat voted against it. I think maybe 3 didn't. That's right. So everybody, Donald Trump lied about it. No. He told the truth. And Joe Biden said that he would have vetoed it if it got into his desk. Chuck Schumer didn't take it up in the Senate. The Democrats wouldn't hear it. That's why they're being exposed. That border. Y'all just think it's about illegals coming in? Oh, no. I saw this terrible story. This young lady, she was illegal. They caught her. She turned herself in, basically. And they checked her pockets. And she had what they thought were drugs, a bag of drugs in her pocket. And when they looked at them, they said, these are not drugs. What are they? And the little girl said something that just broke my heart. She said that these are morning after pills that I bought with me because I knew that on this journey I was going to be raped several times. And I did not want to get pregnant. And Joe Biden allowed this to happen. Young women are getting raped and murdered here in the United States of America. Every night by illegals that he allowed to come here. That's why he's exposed. Aborting babies up to the 9th month. Going to the Supreme Court to force Tennessee to allow minors to get sex change operations. And then he said he wanted to not have a limit, an age limit to minors who get sex change operations. Which means that if a child is born and the parent has to be some type of psychopath weirdo, that the mother or the father can say, hey, I want that boy to be a girl. And they can take that child and castrate him because he doesn't want any limits to sex change operations. That's why he's being exposed. That's why God set him up in front of the whole world to be ridiculed and looked upon. That's why he's lost his mind. That's why the Democratic Party, who hoisted them up, are being exposed too, because they support all the same things. I told you they were done. I was on Tucker Carlson's show 2 years ago when he was still with Fox. You can look at the interview. It's on Rumble right now. And I told Tucker they're done. They're an evil institution. And just like evil and insane people, they cannot stop doing evil. And sooner or later, they're going to tell off on themselves. They're going to cannibalize themselves. I told them they were going to cannibalize themselves. And look at what they're doing now. A circular firing squad, killing each other. That's what all evil people do. Yeah, they fight each other now. They call each other out each other's name. They all running for the mattresses. They all trying to fight to save their own necks. You know why? Because they're an evil institution, and now it's caught up with them. And I'm just having a ball watching it. But you know what, y'all? This is a dangerous time in America right now, because Voltaire said, it is dangerous to be right in matters on which the established authority are wrong. It is dangerous to be right in matters on which the established authority are wrong. We're right, they're wrong. They believe they're going to lose. Matter of fact, unless they cheat or unless they do something serious, they know they're going to lose. And when you got yourself a crazy person and a person that is sick with power who sees they're about to lose it, they will die before they lose it. We better get ready. Evil people don't play. And evil people and insane people don't step down. They have to be taken down. Get ready. Be on the watch. They're not just coming. They're here. Joe Biden and his crew went up to the Black Caucus, told all of them, I wish y'all would try to buck. We control all your money. Y'all don't raise any money in those black districts, all them ghettos and drug dealers and hoe houses and crack houses and terrible schools. If you got $3-4 million in your campaign, it's because I gave it to you. Shut up and get in line. All of them say, yalla ball. Jim Clyburn, I'm riding with Biden. I'm riding with Biden. Maxine Waters was on the news trying to get a wig straight while she was talking about it. Just wig all over her head. And you look at me and say, oh, man. People all over the world watching this. And they said, see, you see why black folks in such bad shape in America? Look at that right there. That's their leadership right there. So they told them to jump to. It was the great Voltaire again that said, it's difficult to free fools from the chains they revere. It is difficult to free fools from the chains they revere. And these brothers, they revere their chains. And the Democrats, we saw how we got out of Afghanistan. They killed 13 of our soldiers. And instead of us going in and say, give them up or we're going to kill everybody we find, we ran out of Afghanistan like some stone cold cowards and punks, man, and left the Taliban that's killed everybody that helped us. Now listen, y'all. I can understand why you might not want to be in Afghanistan. I can feel you on that, okay? But we were over there almost 20 years, and a lot of people came to our aid over there in Afghanistan, put their lives on the line to help us out. Interpreters, guides, people that fed us, people that worked on the bases. We knew that when we left, the Taliban was going to kill all of them. In Vietnam, we at least tried to get them all out. Oh, not Joe Biden. There are people right now that are going over there on their own dime, risking their lives to get those people out because Joe Biden left them there to die. The Taliban, you know how they did? They shot that little girl in the face, the one that got the Nobel Peace Prize because she tried to learn to read. So they had these women all hyped up about going to school and not wearing the burqas. Taliban came and said, oh, Joe Biden didn't care. Left all those, and y'all you feminists, they talk about you Democrats call you feminists. What you got to say about that? You don't care anything about women. You only care about destroying the Judeo-Christian values of the United States of America and destroying the family. Because you cared about women, none of you would vote for Joe Biden, what he did to those girls in Afghanistan, those women in Afghanistan. It's a crying shame. You don't just have to wear just a scarf in Afghanistan. You got to wear like a tent with holes cut in it. You're like a ghost. And if you don't do it, they will beat the living hell out you in the middle of the streets in Afghanistan for it. I mean like a old-fashioned Mississippi, Alabama whooping. You'll be walking down the street, man, start beating the hell out you because you ain't got the right type of burqa on. And Joe Biden allowed that to happen. Donald Trump had almost starved Iran to death of money because they were state-sponsored terrorism. They was giving money to Hezbollah, Hamas, had them where they couldn't sell any oil. Joe Biden gets in, let them sell all the oil they want, and guess what they did? Iran started giving money to Hamas and Hezbollah, and now these jokers got more missiles and bombs than anybody almost in the world. Why? Because America funded Iran, let them sell oil. And then what did Hamas do? They attacked Israel, and now Hezbollah is attacking them. Why? Joe Biden. All of that stuff in the Middle East right now, all of that killing, all that murder, him. That's why God exposed him in front of the world. And then it's Ukraine. Putin told Biden, He said, my red line is you guys putting Ukraine in NATO. It was a Minsk agreement. Look it up for yourself. Because if you put them in NATO, Ukraine is a buffer zone between Russia and the rest of Western Europe. Moscow is not, 300 miles from the border of Ukraine. He said, if NATO gets into Ukraine, they can point missiles at Moscow and destroy my capital in 3 minutes. I can't allow it. It'll be like Russia coming into Mexico and putting missiles in Mexico and pointing them at the United States of America. He said, if you do that, I'm going to have to invade. Instead of Joe Biden putting him directly into NATO real quick and defending him, or telling him, no, man, you're not getting in NATO. Go ahead and make a deal with Putin so he doesn't come and destroy your country. He held the man in limbo. Told him to tear up the Minsk agreement. And when he tore it up, Putin invaded. And now close to 1 million people are dead. Joe Biden again. That's why he's being exposed. Talk about the Green New Deal. Put all that money, all that fake money into the economy. Almost $2 trillion. Now inflation is going sky high because of all that fake money in the economy. That's where your inflation comes from. Joe Biden putting all of that fake money to the economy to pay off his campaign debts to people that gave him money. You give Joe $1 million, he gives you $100 million in federal funds, federal grants, federal contracts. Yeah, that's how the game's played. Give me $1 million, I give you $100 million. And now you can't buy a house, can't buy a car. Every American is spending $1,100, $1,200 more a month than they were when Trump was president. That's why he's being exposed. And my people, I'm enjoying every minute of it. Oh, they say that. There's no definition to a man or a woman. Gender's fluid. Yeah, Democrats say that. There's no difference in a man. The men can play in women's sports. Men can go in the bathroom with women. Hey, boy, that is so sick. Don't tell a demented man he can go into the bathroom with your wife and your daughter, your mama, your sister. Man, I'm waiting for the day one try to walk in on one of my daughters. Y'all gonna read about me in the newspaper. I mean, matter of fact, I might just try to find one and pay him to go into the bathroom with my daughter just so people can see what I'll do to him if he go in there. Just do the whole, have the cameras there and everything. I'm sorry, y'all. I was having a moment there thinking about what I do to that guy if he walked in there with my daughter. I'm sorry. Oh, my God. What did Joe Biden do during COVID? Shut down the churches, let the strip clubs stay open. You couldn't dance to the Holy Spirit, but you could dance to Shake That, You Know What, Girl by 50 Cent. You could put no money in the offering table, but you could make it rain at the strip club. Joe knew where his money was coming from. It wasn't coming from the church. It was coming from the strip club. We got to keep them strip clubs coming because that's where my money coming from. You evangelicals ain't giving no money to my campaign. My money's coming from the dope dealers, the drug dealers, the strippers. Keep them strip clubs open. And he shut down the churches. That's why he was exposed in front of the world. Castrating little boys, called them little girls. Cutting the breasts off little girls, called them little boys. Locking children in failing schools that he know will not educate them. To educate a child in most public schools cost over $20,000 a year. To educate them in private school system cost them less than $10,000 a year. Private school system does it better. Everybody knows that. The voucher system in D.C., whatever it's done, people love it. And Democrats turn it down every time. Why? 2 reasons. The teachers' unions don't like it because they want a monopoly, and they can't have none of these children believing in God. Because once you believe in God, the Democratic Party is done. Our rights come from God. They are unalienable rights. Come from God. But the Democratic Party is hostile to religion. Your rights come from God. But the Democratic Party is an anti-God party. See where I'm going with this? So in order for them to grow, they can let these children believe in God. So state of Louisiana says, we're going to put the 10 Commandments in every classroom. Oh, they lost their mind. Now, you can bring in a drag queen and tell them to shake his behind in your children's face all day long, and they'll be like dashing with the drag queen. But you want to talk about putting in the 10 Commandments, they're going to take you all the way to the Supreme Court. Hell no. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not covet. Oh, hell no. No. These children must be taught to steal. They must be taught to covet. They cannot be taught to obey their parents. They cannot believe there's only one God in heaven. There's only one God. Man, you crazy. We can't teach your children that. Don't bear false witness against your children. Wait, we got to teach them to lie. Yeah, we got to get them to snitch on their parents. Everything about the 10 Commandments, the Democratic Party is against y'all. They don't even remember the Sabbath day. They fix it where you can buy liquor on Sunday now. Go to strip club on Sunday. Work on Sunday. They get mad at Chick-fil-A. Up in New Jersey, going to try to make Chick-fil-A open up on Sunday just because they just don't like Chick-fil-A. These jokes, man, they dirty. It's just, y'all try to keep children from learning the 10 Commandments. Man, I tell you what, think about that. But you know what? It makes sense, doesn't it? Because everything that's about the 10 Commandments, they hate. Thou shalt have no other God before me. Democratic Party really don't want that because they think they're God. Thou shalt not steal. They'll knock out their whole welfare program and their tax system. Thou shalt not commit adultery. What, LGBTQ and the way these jokers live? Should they blow their brains out if they can commit adultery? Thou shalt not bear false witness against their neighbor. Well, shit, how they lie? Thou shalt not kill. Abortion. Thou shalt not covet. Social justice. Man, we can just keep on going. Y'all see where I'm going with this? And here's the sad thing about it. After all of this, there's still some of y'all out there going to vote for these no-good perverts, lying, hypocrite, malcontents, no accounts, ne'er-do-wells. And I have to just sit back and look at you and say, well, I know who you are. Because if you hear all of this and you vote for the Democratic Party, you either crazy or you evil right with them. Yeah, I said it. Just in case you didn't hear me, let me say it again. If after listening to all of this and checking it and seeing that it is correct, if you still vote for the Democratic Party, you are either insane or evil, just as they are. Now, is that plain enough for you, player? Their main goal is to divide Christians here in America, especially black and white Christians. Jesus' last word before he went to the cross was to make sure, was to ask that his children not be divided. And since that time, we've been nothing but divided because of these people on the side of Satan. The biggest problem we got are these pimps in the pulpit. It's no good, dirty, slimy black preachers. They make me sick. Not all of them. You got a few of them out there. But Jesus said there will be many false prophets. He didn't say few, many. He said, narrow is the gate that leads to him, and wide is the gate that leads to destruction. So you're going to have a few people. So the majority of the black preachers you see out there, suckers are no good. And this is the way you test them. Ask them one question. Are you a Democrat? If he says, yeah, he's no good. That's your test. It's almost like when they had the Red Scare back in the early 1950s. Actually, have you ever been a part of the Communist Party? That was the question. You better say no, whether it's true or not. That's the question you need to be asking your preacher. Are you affiliated in any way with the Democratic Party? If he says yes, and well, I see you, dog, take care. I advise you to repent. Or you need to soak yourself in water before you die because you're going straight to hell. So we're out there supporting, well, not we, you. We're out there supporting these evil people. And one of the saddest things they've done here in America, besides supporting the Christians, besides making black people feel that they're not Christians, I'm sorry, besides separating the black and the white Christians, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself, is that they played a dirty game with black Americans. The 14th Amendment, after the Civil War in 1868, made black people, the freed slaves, citizens of the United States of America. Before the 14th Amendment, there was no definition of what a United States citizen was, a U.S. citizen. You could be citizens of states. But the 14th Amendment made you a citizen of the United States of America and a citizen of the state in which you resided. And if you were born in the United States of America, that amendment made you a citizen of the United States of America. It's the law. People call it birthright citizenship. And a lot of illegals come over and they use it in the wrong way. They'll be pregnant, they'll come in America, they'll be here one day and they'll have the baby, and the baby's a U.S. citizen. And then if that baby's a citizen, it's hard to kick the mother and daddy out. Pretty shrewd way of gaming the system, but we're all citizens of the United States of America. And for a long time, I even fell in this trap for a long time. Black people tell us, we're not citizens of this country. We were bought here in chains. We were bought here on slave ships. We were bought here, we're African American. I said one day, what? Hell, I'm from Tennessee. You never been nowhere near Africa. I was born in America. Matter of fact, according to our Constitution, the slave trade in America ended. And Lord God, I hope I get this right, y'all. I think it was 1808. They couldn't bring any more slaves to the United States of America. I believe it was 1808. They ended the slave trade, which means that every black person in this country that did not migrate from Africa recently has been a citizen, was born in it, has ancestry in this country since 1808. Yeah, 1808. For anybody that can do math, that's 216 years. If a generation is 20 years, we about at 11 generations here of working and toiling and fighting in wars. And yet they still trying to talk black people into making them believe that they are the stepchildren of this country and that they should not want to be citizens of the greatest country in the world. Let me tell y'all something. Quick piece of history that I want to use to kill all of this. Because Joe Biden and them are always doing it. Oh, they got Juneteenth. I did the podcast a couple of weeks ago about Juneteenth, giving us second-class citizenship, that the white people's their freedom came from God, but ours came from the white people. And all black people dancing in the street. God gave the white man his freedom, and then the white man gave the black man his freedom, which means, yeah, we're second-class citizens. You dummies. I almost cussed. God working with me, y'all. Oh, I almost said it. Woo! White man gave you freedom. God gave the white man his freedom. White man gave you his freedom. So the white man must be God in your eyes. Lord, have mercy. He didn't give me my freedom. God gave me my freedom. That's who I declare it from. All y'all that celebrate Juneteenth, you're telling on yourself, right? You're telling on yourself. You see the white man as God, and that's cool. You're ignorant. Go ahead. And then they do something that's so daggum ignorant. I just want to do an Elvis Presley and shoot the TV every time I see it. The black national anthem. I'm sitting here watching the Super Bowl. They give the American national anthem. Then they're going to do a black national anthem. What the hell are you doing? Trill trying to separate us. I said, ain't this important? I said, what? Still trying to make us believe that we are not citizens of this nation. Black national anthem. And the girl couldn't sing. I'm like, man, I tell you what. So here I am. I'm saying, I tell you what. I know Tucker Carlson pretty good. I'm going to call Tucker. He got a hotline to Trump. Sean Hannity got a hotline to Trump too. I'm going to say, look here, man, I want y'all to do something for me. I said, I want y'all to tell Donald Trump to put into the next a budget. Allocate some money for all these black folks who want to go back to Africa. Give them a one-way ticket. One-way ticket, first class. Drop them off wherever they want to go in Africa, and then smoke, leave them there, come on back to America. Send me to take them up on it. Allocate some money. I want to see how many is going to do it. And if you don't take it, stop your complaining. I don't mind you being poor. Hell, I was poor for a while. I don't mind you advocating for things you think need to be done, but I hate the complaining. White supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. White supremacy is like voodoo. It only has power if you believe in it. We got to end racism. We got to end racism. Trying to end racism is like trying to change the nature of a lion or a bear. You don't change his nature. What you do, you get yourself a 38, and if he charges you, you blow his brains out. Go out there and try to change that bear's nature if you want to, see what happens to you. Go out there and try to change that Klan member's nature, see what happens to you. You can't change the weather. Trying to change racism like trying to change the weather. What do you build yourself a shelter to it? What's your shelter? Jesus and your 38. Why you think no racism ever bothered me? I say on television, I'll smoke them out. I ain't scared to do it. And that would be this on a good day. Catch me on a bad one, see what I do to him. I'm not begging a racist to not judge me by the color of my skin. Please, Mr. Racist, please don't judge me by the color of my skin. And then you think he's going to have respect for you? Hell no, he won't. And he shouldn't. So this is what Joe Biden them and the Democrats been telling us for years, and that's why they've been exposed. But here's the real history, y'all. I'm going to tell you how black men, not hypothetically saved the United States of America, literally saved the United States of America. This is a true story. And when you hear it, you'll never forget it. The Civil War was going on. Robert E. Lee in the South was beating the hell out the North. Them white boys down South wasn't playing. They was kicking the Union armies behind, left, and right. Killing the Union soldiers, and Abraham Lincoln was running out of men. They had been getting volunteers. They've been asking people to volunteer, and Abraham Lincoln said, well, now we can't use black soldiers because they ain't citizens. And Frederick Douglass had said, man, get the black soldiers, they'll help now. And Abraham Lincoln said, no, man, I'll get these black soldiers out here. The white soldiers might not come no more. Well, man, they kept getting it behind with it. Abraham Lincoln asked for some more volunteers, and they said, no, man. And then he put out the Emancipation Proclamation, and they sure enough said, we ain't volunteering now. They had draft riots up in New York City. They burnt the city up. They started hanging black people from lampposts. It was crazy. They had to pull people from Gettysburg to come into New York City to help put down the draft riots. The movie Gangs of New York talks about it at the end of it. And they killed a lot of people, put the riots down. But after that, the white folks said, we ain't coming to fight no more. The North was done. The United States of America was done. It was over. Couldn't get any more men to come fight. And Frederick Douglass said, I've told you what you need to do. You better call out for these black men to come join the army. They'll fight for their freedom. Lincoln finally relinquished. He called out for black volunteers. 87% of all eligible black men, 60% of who had once been slaves, volunteered for the Union Army. And when they volunteered for the Union Army, they swept through the city. Those black soldiers went down south of 54 Massachusetts, and they had 187,000, most of them were, and 60,000 joined the Navy. Most of them were in the infantry. And they started beating Confederates. At Fort Pillow, they massacred them. It didn't stop. Fort Wagner, they shot them up. They didn't stop. And when Robert E. Lee's troops heard there were black men down south, with guns, his army started melting away. Abraham Lincoln made the statement. He said, without these black soldiers, we could not have won the war. That means that the United States of America would have ceased to exist, y'all. And who saved this great nation that we all sit in today? Black men, the men that they despise, the ex-soldiers. And Winston Churchill said the same thing. He said, at the end of World War I or World War II, when America, the nation that they had fought against and tried to subdue, came and saved them twice. We saved them in World War I, then saved them in World War II. And then the black men that this nation despised came and saved them. And then you're going to let these people tell you this ain't your country? We served in World War I. We served in the American Revolution at Yorktown. When George Washington was going to get Cornwallis, Alexander Hamilton said, General, I haven't shed blood yet, and I think this is going to be the last battle. He said, I got to lead a charge. And George Washington didn't want him to because he thought he was going to get killed. And he said, Alex, I'm going to let you go. You're too valuable. He said, I have to do it, or I won't be looked upon as a man. So he told Alexander Hamilton to go take one of the redoubts. And he said, before you go, I'm going to give you my best troops because I want my best troops with you. Guess who his best troops were? The Rhode Island. The 1st Regiment of Rhode Island. A regiment of black men. He went with Alexander Hamilton and took that redoubt without firing a shot. They used bayonets. Killed all the British. George Washington said the 1st Rhode Island was his best regiment of black men. Bet you never heard of them, have you? Fought for the duration of the American Revolution. And they want to tell you this is not your country? That's what they tell you. That's what Joe Biden and the Democrats tell you. You're African American. You're not American. We got to have majority black districts because we can't have that. We got to have HBCUs. We got to have black schools. They make me sick. Division, hatred. We had 300,000 in World War I. It's a shame what they've done. And they've been exposed. In our Bible, Haman had an attitude. He hated Mordecai, wanted to get him killed and wanted to kill all the Jews. So he went to the king, started making up lies and this and that and the other. But the king was married to a beautiful Jewish lady by the name of Esther, and he didn't know that Esther was Jewish. And Mordecai went to Esther and said, Esther, you got to go and tell the king what's going on. He loves you. He'll listen to you. Esther said, Mordecai, if the king doesn't want to see me and I walk into his chamber, he'll have me killed. He said, well, you have got to go. You were made for a time such as this. Esther bathed, put on her best clothes, made herself up, and walked into the king's chamber, and he stuck her head in. He said, Esther, come to me. I'll give you anything you want, even after half of my kingdom. And Esther came in and told him the story of what Haman was going to do. And what did the king do? The scaffolds he had built for Mordecai, he hung Haman on. Haman was exposed. The beautiful thing about this election and what's happening to the Democrats, y'all, is this. They are going to be defeated by the person they hate most in the world. And that's Donald J. Trump. They would prefer to get beat by Adolf Hitler than to get beat by Trump. They prefer to go get Abraham Lincoln again and let him beat them in 1860 than again get beat by Donald Trump. This is why this is some type of cruel, poetic justice on them. All the low-down, dirty, conniving mess they've done that I've described to you. That they're getting their comeuppance. It is a beautiful thing. I leave you with this. God will not be mocked. You will reap what you sow, and the Democrats are getting ready to go down. Glory, hallelujah. Now, you go to my website, ThisSpeaksTruth.com. Get my documentary. Will you go to hell for me? We're not going to go to hell for these Democrats, y'all. It's going to explain to you how they're just a terrible institution, how they're a bunch of demons, and how you don't need to vote for these perverts. Share it with your friends. It'll rock your world. Iron Triangle. Yeah, it talks about the black preachers, the black politicians, the black civil rights organizers. All these jokers that are crashing and burning now because they've been riding the wrong horse and they've been mocking God now for too long. Now the chickens are coming home to roost, and I just want to be there and watch the thing happen. I want a ringside seat to it, man. And then it's 25 lies. As I said before, I could have named it 25,000 lies, 25 million lies, 25 trillion lies, because the Democrats don't do nothing but lie. But this is a handbook for you to read and understand how these jokers do what they do. It's all caught up with them. And it's caught up because we all now recognize who they are. 25 lies will help you recognize them even more. And then it's Crime Inc. Yeah, I told you they were a crime family, didn't I? And just like all crime families, what are they doing? They starting to kill each other now. Oh, they fragging each other now. Oh, they shooting each other now. They have no honor. They have no virtue. They use mafia tactics. There's all kind of crap going on behind the scenes now, y'all. All kinds of stuff going on behind the scenes now. Pay attention. The next few months are going to be quite entertaining. People, my name is Vince Everett Ellison. I am my father's son. I ain't afraid of a damn thing. And I'm here to wake you up. Thank you for joining me. Come be with me again next week on the Vince Everett Ellison Show.